Here's some good news for folks that are fed up with these mail-in ballots being used for ballot harvesting and all the other criminal activity that they're used for. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled unanimously against Biden administration's challenge to Texas law concerning mail-in ballots. Now think about that for a second. It was against Texas. Biden administration was one that was putting it in there. And Pam Bondi said, why don't we keep this going? Because you know that she had to know this was still going because of how stupid it is. But she also was smart enough to realize who would win the case. This legislation mandates that mail in ballots include either a state identification number or a partial social security number, and it invalidates ballots that lack this information. Okay, the law known as the Election Integrity and Protection Act was enacted in September 2021 under Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and it faced immediate opposition from the Biden administration and various advocacy groups, including the League of Women Voters, who argued that it infringed upon the Civil Rights Act of 1964. How stupid do you have to be? In November 2023, U.S. District Judge Xavier Rodriguez had previously invalidated, go figure, the identification requirement. However, the Fifth Circuit Court later issued a stay on this injunction. So we're going to read through this ruling, and it's probably going to keep going. I mean, well, I don't know if it will or not, but let's read what the court had to say on this one real quick. Also, if you don't mind, hit like and subscribe. I am trying to get my numbers up to the 1,000, and YouTube right now is having a little bit of fun with me. So here we go.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Okay, now, so this is USA, OCA, Greater Houston League of Women Voters in Texas, and Rev Up Texas. Okay, first off, before we start this, I'm going to figure out who this Rev Up Texas is, because, well, I ain't never heard of them before. Okay, Rev Up Texas. Empower people with disabilities and our allies to get more involved in electoral. In other words, it's a liberal organization. Okay. Versus Ken Paxton, Attorney General, State of Texas, Jane Nelson in her official capacity as Texas Secretary of State, State of Texas, Harris County Republican Party, Dallas County Republican Party, National Republican Senatorial Committee, really? National Republican Congressional Committee, really? And Republican National Convention was called in on this. Wow. Okay, so here's what it said. Mail-in ballots are not secure. VZ V. Perry 71F. Okay, it's another court ruling. Crediting district court finding that mail-in ballot fraud is a significant threat. This is also Texas Democratic Party versus Abbott. Collecting examples where courts have repeatedly found that mail-in ballots are particularly susceptible to fraud, and also citing Brennan Center for Justice amicus brief documenting extensive problems with absentee ballot fraud. On federal election reform, building confidence in U.S. elections, concluding that absentee ballots remain the largest source of potential voter fraud, and urging states to do more to prevent voter registration and absentee ballot fraud. Okay, so you're hearing this. The Election Protection and Integrity Act of 2021 combats mail-in ballot fraud in Texas by generally requiring voters who wish to vote by mail to provide an identification number, such as a driver's license, social security, or other personal identification number, first on their mail-in ballot application and second in their mail-in ballots themselves. We have no difficulty concluding that that this ID number requirement fully complies with a provision of federal law known by the parties as the materiality provision of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Under that provision, no person acting under color of law shall deny the right of any individual to vote in any election because of an error or omission on any record or paper relating to any application, registration, or other act requisite of voting if such error or omission is not material in determining whether such individual is qualified under state law to vote in such election. The ID requirement is obviously designed to confirm that each mail-in ballot is precisely who he claims he is, and that is plainly material to determining whether each individual is qualified under state law to vote. District Court reached the opposite conclusion, so we reverse and render judgment for defendants. To vote in Texas, one must satisfy various eligibility requirements, including age, citizenship, residency, and mental fitness. One must also be registered to vote. The voter registration application ask each applicant to affirm under penalty of perjury that they are eligible to vote. Additionally, since 2004, in response to the Help America Vote Act, Texas requires each applicant to provide an identification number, preferably a Texas driver's license number or personal identification number, which the parties refer to as a DPS number. Each state shall implement a single uniform official centralized interactive computerized statewide voter registration list that assigns a unique identifier to each legally registered voter of the state. If the applicant doesn't have a DPS number, they can provide the last four digits of their social security number, which parties call SSN4. So, you heard all that. This is what the courts had to say. There's a lot more to it, too. You can look it up on their website. So, basically, the Democrats were trying to sue using the U.S. government and this League of Women Voters and RevUp. We're using this as a way to sue the Republican National Committee, the Republican Senatorial Committee, and the National Republican Congressional Committee, along with Tim Paxton, State of Texas, Jane Nelson, Harris County Republican Party, Dallas County Republican Party. Why? I mean, this just smacks of stupidity right here. And this Rodriguez feller, Judge Xavier Rodriguez, doing what he did, he should have known it was going to be overturned, but hey, they don't care as long as they get that victory, because barely anybody pays attention to the appellate court unless it gets up to the Supreme Court. So he got his 5 minutes in the light, and he got all the Democrat accolades and all that. Oh, you're fighting the good fight for Marxism. Hey, you can go be in peace because your hero Stalin would be happy with you. That's basically what happened here. But hey, at least somebody's thinking some common sense with the Fifth Circuit Court. All of them were thinking some common sense. But hey, I thought I'd bring this to your attention. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.